Hello, everyone, this is part 5. Are you ready to watch? Enjoy this show. Please support me. I wasn't planning on posting another update, but I've been getting a lot of messages from people asking how I'm doing now, especially after everything that's happened. It's been about a year since Melissa and I separated, and I feel like I've made so much progress. It's been a roller coaster, honestly, and I thought it was important to share where I'm at now. So, where am I? To be completely honest, I'm in a much better place than I ever thought I'd be a year ago. When I first found out about the affair, it felt like the ground beneath me had been ripped out. I didn't think I could come back from that level of betrayal, but here I am. I've rebuilt my life, and while I've had setbacks along the way, I've learned that healing isn't linear. Sometimes, it's 2 steps forward, 1 step back, and that's okay. It's a process. As I've mentioned before, I've been casually seeing Claire for the last few months. It's been refreshing. Not because I'm rushing into anything serious, but because for the first time in a long time, I'm dating someone without baggage. With Claire, there's no history of betrayal, no doubts hanging over me. We just get to enjoy each other's company, and that's been incredible. But, and this is important, I've learned something critical during this time. I'm not just looking for someone to fill a void. That's something I was doing before with Melissa, looking for someone to make me feel whole. I've learned that I'm already whole. I don't need someone else to complete me. I'm not saying I'll never fall in love again, but I'm not rushing it. If it happens, it happens. But I'm not putting my life on hold for anyone. As for Melissa, well, that's been its own thing. I've received a few messages from her in the last few months. Nothing major, just her checking in. She's trying to be friends, which I honestly can't even wrap my head around. She's the one who cheated, and yet, she seems to think we can just sweep everything under the rug and pretend like it never happened. It's clear to me now that she hasn't done the work on herself that I've been doing. She hasn't taken the time to look at why she made those choices, and that's something I've come to accept. I can't control her actions, and I can't change the past. I've blocked her number, and I've moved on. I've had to remind myself that, just because she's reached out, doesn't mean I need to respond. My closure doesn't come from her apology or her acknowledgement of what she did, it comes from within me. I've come to terms with what happened, and I don't need her to validate my feelings anymore. What's been surprising is how little I miss her. I've had moments where I think about the good times we had, and maybe I even mourn the life we could have had, but it's all just a distant memory now. It's like a chapter in a book that I've closed, and I'm okay with that. There's no need to dwell on the past when the future is full of possibilities. Something else I've realized is how much I was sacrificing myself in that relationship. I wasn't just giving up my happiness, I was giving up my own identity. Melissa and I were never a team. It was always her way, and I bent to that. The power dynamic was so off balance, and I let it happen. I let myself believe that I wasn't enough, that I needed to change to make her happy, and that's something I'll never do again. Now, I know who I am. I know what I deserve. And I'm never going to settle for less than that. On a lighter note, I've been traveling a lot more lately. There's something about getting away and experiencing new places that has been incredibly healing. I've been to a few countries in Europe, and the solo travel has been therapeutic. It's allowed me to reflect, to let go, and to see the world in a way that I never did before. The best part is that I'm doing it for me. I'm not waiting for anyone to join me or to tell me where I should go. I'm exploring the world and figuring out who I want to be without any outside influence. That freedom is priceless. In all of this, I've learned that there's power in vulnerability. I used to think that being strong meant shutting people out, not letting anyone see my pain. But that's not true. Strength comes from allowing yourself to feel, to experience the highs and lows of life, and to grow from them. That's the real strength. To anyone out there still struggling with the aftermath of infidelity, I see you. I hear you. The road ahead won't be easy, but trust me when I say this, there is life after betrayal. There is healing, there is peace, and most importantly, there is you. Don't let anyone, not even the person who hurt you, define your worth. Thanks for sticking with me through all of this, Reddit. I'm in a good place, and I'm proud of the man I'm becoming. I know it's been a little while, but I felt like I owed you all another update. I never expected this story to go on as long as it has, but life has a funny way of throwing curveballs. While I've made a ton of progress and I'm doing a lot better emotionally, I recently found myself facing a test that made me question just how much I've healed. So, here's what happened. As I've mentioned before, I've been seeing Claire, and while it's been casual, we've been spending more time together. There's a real connection, and I've started thinking that maybe this could go somewhere. We're not rushing things, but I've started to see her as someone I could genuinely have a future with. But, as life tends to do, just when things are going smoothly, something comes up. A few weeks ago, I was having lunch with Claire at a cafe when I got a message on Facebook. It was from a profile I didn't recognize, but I clicked it anyway. It was Melissa. The message was short, but to the point. I heard you're seeing someone. How's that going? I stared at the screen for a long time. It felt like everything froze. There were so many emotions swirling inside of me: anger, confusion, irritation. The past came rushing back in an instant, and for a second, I was that guy who was blindsided by her betrayal again. I felt my heart rate spike. Claire noticed me staring at my phone, and I could see the concern on her face. I knew she was aware of my past with Melissa, and she could tell something was off. "Everything okay?" she asked. I took a deep breath and put my phone down. "Yeah, just some old stuff. From Melissa. She messaged me." Claire didn't say anything at first. She just watched me for a moment, waiting for me to continue. I could feel the tension in the air, and I knew she wanted me to explain more, but I didn't want to drag her into the mess of it all. I didn't want to relive that pain, especially in front of her. She just wanted to know how things were going with us," I said, trying to sound calm. But I could feel my anger bubbling just beneath the surface. "Is that all?" Claire asked quietly. I nodded, but internally, I was seething. I hadn't heard from Melissa in months. I thought she had moved on, but here she was, digging into my life again. I didn't understand why she felt the need to reach out. I didn't want anything to do with her. I looked at Claire, and for the first time since meeting her, I felt unsure. Not about her, but about how this situation might affect us. I knew I had to handle it with care. She didn't deserve to be caught up in the mess of my past. "Look, I'm not going to let this affect us," I said, trying to reassure her. "Melissa is, she's part of my past, and that's where she needs to stay. But this whole thing is it's messing with my head." Claire seemed to understand. She reached across the table, placing her hand on mine. "James, I get it. I really do. But don't let her get in your head again. You've worked so hard to get to this point. You're not that guy anymore, and I'm not that girl either. We're here now, and this, whatever it is with Melissa, it doesn't change anything between us." Her words meant more to me than I realized at the time. It was a reminder that I had to keep my boundaries firm, not just with Melissa, but with myself. I couldn't let the ghosts of my past dictate my future. After a long pause, I finally decided to respond to Melissa's message. I knew it was important to address it, but I wasn't going to get sucked into an emotional exchange. My response was simple, direct, and firm. "Melissa, I'm not sure why you're reaching out, but this is over. I'm moving on, and I'd appreciate it if you respected that." I hit send before I could second-guess myself. As soon as I did, a wave of relief washed over me. It felt like I had taken control of the situation. I wasn't going to allow Melissa to interfere with my life anymore. I had learned my lesson the hard way, and I wasn't going to let myself fall back into that cycle. I turned my attention back to Claire. She was still holding my hand, her eyes soft but searching. "You okay?" she asked. I smiled, genuinely this time. "Yeah. I'm good. Thank you." That moment with Claire was important. I realized that, despite the unexpected test of having Melissa pop back into my life, I was stronger than I'd been in the past. I wasn't going to let someone else's drama mess with my peace. I knew I had to protect my boundaries, my mental health, and my relationship with Claire. And more importantly, I knew I was done with the past. There was no going back. Not with Melissa. Not with anyone. So, I guess this is where I am now. It's been a test of how far I've really come, and I passed. I handled the situation with Melissa like an adult. I didn't let my anger get the best of me, and I didn't let it ruin what I'd built with Claire. I'm learning that the key to moving on isn't just about cutting people out of your life, it's about protecting your peace. And I'm going to keep doing that, no matter what. Thanks again for all your support, Reddit. It's been a wild ride, but I'm finally where I need to be. Thank you for watching. I ask you to help me. Subscribe to my channel, put likes, and do not forget to comment. Thank you. See you in another video.